Welcome, everyone, back to the second episode of the Sodacast. Now, let me go ahead and start off by apologizing because I know it's been a little while since the last episode, since the first episode, and there's a reason for that. I'm going to tell you right now, and that is due to obviously three big reasons. First one being, well, the last episode was right before Christmas, so I got a little busy there. And then obviously the New Year's right after that. So I was kind of checked out for the year. And the other big reason is because I had already planned to bring on a special guest, but unfortunately, and I completely respect this person, they have decided to not come on to the Sodacast, unfortunately. So I'm not going to name who they are or why they don't want to come on. If they're listening to this or watching this, then they're more than welcome to go ahead and say why eventually. But moving on, we will be releasing more episodes soon. Obviously, you're listening to this one. But I think it's time to go ahead and actually get into the topics of today. So obviously, as per tradition, 2 episodes in now, the drink of choice or the soda of choice today is going to be very, very generic. It today will be just typical Coca-Cola. I am here to rot my teeth out. So, obviously, as you guys can also see, I no longer have the tree in the background. If you're a video listener, if you're an audio listener, as you just heard, yeah, the tree's no longer here. It's not Christmas anymore. So, yay. Hope everyone had a great holiday. I'm glad to be back for 2023, and hopefully this is everybody's year. So, to go ahead and start off, we're going to go ahead and talk about 2021 a little bit and mostly 2022. And we're just going to get that off the table, get that out of there. You guys will go ahead and get to know a little bit more about me and why I even actually stopped streaming. Because if you guys were, for those of you that watched my 12-22-22 stream, the big hyped up stream that I had planned, I had mentioned in that stream a few reasons why I had stopped. I mentioned I need to take a break and that I was just feeling exhausted. And to an extent that was true because I was streaming Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday for about like 5 hours each day. So that was obviously a lot of wear and tear on me. And I just felt like it just wasn't fun anymore. So I did decide to take a break, but that wasn't the real true reason, because if anything, I would have just changed up the schedule. So the real reason why I had decided to take a break, and I know this is going to sound really stupid and probably really controversial, and hopefully this person isn't listening, but if they are, you're more than welcome to say anything, or you could just keep quiet. I don't really care. I'm just putting my side out. I'm going to try to be as objective as possible. Yes, I had stepped away from streaming. I had stepped away from pretty much all social media because of someone near and dear to my heart, at least at the time, back in 2021, because that's when I had stopped streaming. I had met that person that year, and when I had met them, the way that they carried themselves and the way that their people around them carried them, it made me want to be better. So I had said, all right, cool. No more kid stuff, no more streaming, no more social media. I'm going to try to get my life together. And that's how I ended up originally going back to another photography studio, realizing, hey, photography may not be the best choice for me. And then moving over to working at Geico and then other companies that maybe I'll go ahead and talk about later in this podcast. Which I'm not blaming that person at all for me stepping away from streaming. I'm taking full accountability for that, but that was the reason why I'd stepped away. So I'd stepped away for about a year and a half, if I'm not mistaken. And the funny part was me and that person had dated, I believe, from February, if I'm not mistaken, February of 2021, all the way to like July of 2021, which is when I started working at Geico. So it was like, damn, right when I start taking like my life a little bit more seriously, um, you step out, and at the end of the day, I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you guys. The reason why me and that person went our separate ways was completely my fault. And ever since that point, all I wanted to do was, I kept having stream ideas and video ideas. And I even mentioned to a few of my coworkers, like, hey, I used to be a streamer. I used to do this. And they checked me out and they were like, why the fuck did you stop? Like, it seemed like you enjoyed it and seemed like you were pretty entertaining and you had a lot of people behind you. You had a lot of people supporting you. And I had mentioned to them the similar thing that I'm mentioning to you guys now. And what happened after that was I just kept on working at Geico. And as I mentioned, the Geico essentially got terminated due to legal reasons. So some of us, some of the employees, myself included, we got moved over to a different insurance company. Fuck it. I don't work there anymore. So I'll just say the name of it. I worked at Farmers Insurance. For those of you that don't know, it is the company that goes, we are farmers, bum, ba-da-dum, bum, 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 that company. So I sold insurance there for almost a year, maybe a little over a year. I don't really remember, but I ever since then I sold insurance at Farmers, and I was making, I would say, some pretty good money. At first, not a whole lot because it's a sales job and it's how sales works. For those of you that do not know, sales is commission. Depending on the company that you work for, you might get a little bit of salary as well, but mostly you're paid off commission. So since it was my first time selling, I had no clue what the hell I was doing. And I was a train wreck at first, but I had some amazing people that hopefully one day I will bring on the podcast. I had some amazing people teaching me how to get better at sales, which if anything, just improved my people skills and hopefully will improve my streams going forward, my videos going forward, and yes, even these podcasts going forward. But I did that for a while, and then that person that had essentially walked out of my life did come back. Now, before I explain what had happened when they had come back, I want to go ahead and say what my mentality was that essentially turned me into the person that I am now, right? So when that person left, all I wanted to do from there on out was just constantly improve myself and say like, all right, cool, I'm going to be better for this person because I did them wrong. Because like to me, in essence, I felt like that was like one of like two people I really felt like I had a strong connection with, maybe one of three people. And I had just told myself every single day that, hey, I want to be better for this person and I want to be able to provide them a home when they come back to me. If they ever come back, I want to be able to provide them a roof over their head, brand new car, and a family ready to be started. That was what I told myself every single day. And I would like sit at the foot of my bed and recollect essentially on what I had did in that day. Like each and every single day, I'd always end my night by sitting at the foot of my bed and always ask myself, what did I do wrong and what could I do better? That's what I always did. And that's what I even do to this day. That is what I do because I feel like that's what helps make me a better person. Because that's all you can do. You can't focus on anyone else. You can't really point the finger at anyone else. All you can do is point the finger at yourself. And that's what I did. I learned that after that last relationship. So I kept on pointing the finger at myself, trying to become the better person, better man. So when that person came back, I could be the best version of myself for them. Because all I would do is point the finger at myself. Now, in hindsight, that could be a little bit bad depending on your own mindset, because if all you do is constantly point the finger at yourself and say, hey, here's what I could have done better, if you're not mentally prepared for that, all that's going to do is just eat you alive, and you're just going to go ahead and constantly point the finger at yourself and blame yourself for everything, which is not the right way to go about it. And there's other things that I do, like I have a journal and I have a whiteboard, and if you guys actually watch my YouTube channel, so make sure you go to youtube.com slash at Sodacat, because they have like at symbols now or hashtags or whatever. So just search up Sodacat13. You'll find me on YouTube. Hopefully, by the time this episode comes out, you guys will be seeing my next YouTube video, which will be a motivational video. Now, it's going to have a little bit of a twist on it, but you guys will essentially see me talking about how I read my book, or how I write in my journal, how I sit at the foot of my bed, and how I write on my whiteboard, which is in the other room. But I did all those things each and every single day to help improve myself. And then I had eventually started to go back to boxing again, because I know it's been a while since I even like picked up the sport to actually attempt doing it again. So I finally went back to a boxing gym. That I will not say which boxing gym I've been going to, but I was going back to a boxing gym, and I was loving it. I was enjoying it. I was doing so good with life, and this person came back in, and the first thing that they said to me, "Is Frost dead yet?" and now, for those of you that don't know, I have a cat named Frost. I love her. She is so near and dear to my heart. If you're a video viewer, you probably just saw her walk behind me not too long ago. But and that's a podcast for another day. I don't want to talk about too much of Frost on this podcast. But Frost, very near and dear to my heart, and I knew what this person meant by that, because at the time when I was last speaking with this person, Frost was going through like multiple surgeries, and like she like had to get her gallbladder removed, but she had 2 gallbladders. It was a mess. I'm pretty sure some of you guys already know if you're a longtime viewer of mine. But yes, Frost was completely recovered. I had mentioned that to her. I responded back to her saying, yes, Frost is doing great. I appreciate it. And then one thing led to another. Me and her started talking again, and I found out that she had moved to a different part of Florida. She had moved because she for personal reasons. Once again, I don't want to say too much about that person, because it's not really my business. It's not my place. But she had moved to Tampa. So I was happy for her. And I know one thing led to another. I had went to go visit her pretty often. I'd say about once or twice every single month. I would drive up to Tampa to go hang out with her for the weekend, and we would have a blast. We would go to places like Busch Gardens. We would drive from Tampa to Orlando. For those of you that are not familiar with Florida, yes, that is where I'm from. Tampa's like west of the coast. Orlando's more of like central east coast, I guess. But yeah, we would drive then from Tampa to Orlando. We would go to Universal. We almost went to Disney. We attempted, but we never actually got the chance. Before, we have been to Disney together, but now I'm just rambling. But yes, we had kept on talking, and we were enjoying each other's company, taking things just slow. Really slow, and to me it just felt very surreal just to have this person back in my life, because I wasn't expecting them to come back so soon, if at all. So to have them come back was just such a weird feeling, and it felt weird the whole entire time. Not good weird, not bad weird, just weird. But we took things slow. We just kept on talking. And I know that for my birthday of 2022, I had went with her to go to Universal, and that's when I said, all right, cool, maybe I do want to get back with this person. But I didn't know if she wanted to get back with me, so I just kept on taking my time, just kept on enjoying the company with her, and just her wanting to always hang out with me. And then as I had mentioned on my last podcast, I had went on a cruise last year. Now, that was a whole entire debacle in and of itself, just to even get to the cruise, just to get on the cruise, because with COVID and everything, the whole entire procedure's there. But yes, I had paid for me and her to go on a cruise together. Really, really exciting cruise. Going to say what it is again, because if you guys haven't, I really do recommend going on a cruise. It's basically like a fancy all-you-can-eat buffet. Maybe for those of you that might be cruise enjoyers, might be saying that's a horrible way of putting it. Maybe. But it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet on the move, on the water. And you have people attending to your all your needs, essentially. You don't really throw anything out. They just kind of pick it up for you. You leave a plate somewhere, they'll get it. You leave a cup somewhere. I personally don't. It was weird to me my first time, but that's aside from the point. We had an amazing time on the cruise. We went to a few different places. We started off in the Bahamas, as I mentioned on my last podcast. Then we went to Jamaica, and then we went to Haiti. We went on the cruise as friends, but I did have full intentions of getting back with her. And I said, all right, cool. I'm gonna as some of you may say, I shoot my shot. I shot my shot. Sure. So I shot my shot, and I did it like in a really nice romantic way, asking her back out on the cruise. And she had said yes. Now, hopefully those of you that are listening are like, oh, that's really sweet. 'Cause I tried. But we then continued on the cruise, and something I noticed immediately, and like I said, the other person might say different. That's up to them. That's on them. But I noticed immediately a shift. Literally the next morning, we had a fight. Quite literally the next morning, because I asked her out like late at night, almost like midnight essentially, or maybe a little after midnight. And then we went to bed. We woke up the next morning. We got to go get breakfast, and immediately had an argument. And like, just in my head, I said, something's not right here. In my heart, because I was thinking about this person for pretty much a year while they were gone up in Tampa doing their own thing. I was over here just like thinking like, all right, I wanted this person back. And now that they're here, my heart, it just says yes. But my head said, oh, something's not right here. But either way, we, because I was this new, adjusted, much more mature version of myself, I think I had a better way of going about it. So I'm not going to talk about that, because I'm not here to go ahead and tell you guys about all the fucking relationship issues. I'm not here to tell you about like, hey, yeah, this is exactly what happened. I'm just giving you guys the rough story. So I wouldn't say it was like a huge red flag, but it definitely was just weird, because we were talking for months before that and never had one argument. So I was a little flabbergasted. I guess that's the word that popped into my head. I was a little flabbergasted. But it was whatever. We kept on going. We kept on talking. And we were pretty much overall fairly happy. I would say most of her family liked me. Most. And we just kept on going. And then when we got back from the cruise, we had decided, she was going to go back up to Tampa, and I was going to continue working here. I was going to get the advanced version of my license. For those of you that aren't aware, in insurance, at least in the state of Florida, maybe in other states, I don't really know. I'm pretty sure for the whole entire country in the U.S., there's two versions of my license. There's a 440 and there's a 220. I had a 440, which means I have to be in the office. I have to work there, go physically there every single day to sell insurance. Compared to with a 220, I can work remotely. I can work from home, that kind of stuff. So, the reason why I mentioned that is because she had planned to go back up to Tampa. And since we really enjoyed spending a lot of time together, and since I was a completely, I would say an overall completely changed man, going from streaming, not really making any money from streams, having no source of income really, to then selling insurance, being the number one farmers in the country, being a part of the number 2 Geico in the country. I thought that, hey, that was like a big deal. That was definitely like a big change for my life. And obviously, eventually my sales got a lot better at Farmers, because, once again, I had those people teaching me how to actually sell. So I had said, all right, cool, I'm going to study to get the advanced version of my license so I can work remotely and so we could move in together. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys can figure out where this is going. Here's the thing, though. I didn't end up getting the advanced version of my license. I had planned to get it in like July of 2021, I think. 2021? 2020. No, my bad, 2022. Getting my years all confused. And what happened was with this test, because it's a like state mandated test, I had to go through a specific website and I had to go through my state. And apparently they got my social security messed up, so I couldn't legally take the test. So that kind of tossed a huge wrench into things, right? Now, here was the thing. The farmers that I was working for was also having issues, legal issues. So I kind of figured, and I was hearing a few things, that the farmers that I was working for was either going to shut down or have to downsize. So I said, okay, screw it. I'm going to quit where I'm working. And I did. And then I believe exactly like a month later or less than a month later, the agency then downsized. I don't know if it's shut down or downsized. I know it's one of the two, but there's not as many people working there. I'm pretty sure it's downsized. But aside from the point, I had ended up quitting and I said, fuck it. I'm just going to move up to Tampa with you. Now, didn't officially move up for legal reasons. But that's a story for another day. Listen, your boy does some illegal stuff. He does some illegal stuff. No, I'm kidding. Everything by the book, guys. Everything by the book. But no, I had moved up to Tampa, and me and her were enjoying it at first. And let me tell you, it was definitely a new experience for me because it was my first time moving out of where I live. I went from sleeping in a walk-in closet, as you guys know, to then having an apartment in Tampa with no mother, no family, no nothing like that, no one to support me, to have my back in the event anything goes wrong. Which, when I moved up there, I was very picky on the jobs that I was applying for because I was making a good amount of money at Farmers, and I wanted to make sure that I continued to make a good amount of money, at least money to sustain myself and to sustain my partner. So I kept on looking for jobs, and I think I was probably looking in the wrong places because I was applying for like furniture stores, right? Like, but thing is, I was applying for the sales team. Like, and then like when all these companies would interview me, they would like actually like hear me out. They would hear like everything that I have to offer, and they would love me. And then like, all right, what are you expecting to get paid? Or I would ask them like, okay, or I would tell them like what I'm looking for and for a wage, and they're like, yeah, best we could do is like half of that. And I'm like, what? What do you? No, no. Everything that I'm bringing to the table, and that's all you could offer. And they were like, yeah, you bring a lot, but you don't have experience. You don't have enough experience. What? So you'll hire me with half the pay just because I don't have enough experience. You're going to miss out on that opportunity to make a lot more money. So eventually I did settle on a job up there. Not going to say what kind of job. It was a sales job. It was. Not the best sales job, to say the least, but I mean, hey, it paid the bills. It paid the bills. But me and this person were continuing to have issues because once you don't really know a person until you live with them. And some of you might know, some of you might be too young to know, but I can tell without a doubt, I have some of you guys here that listen to me and listen to these podcasts and are definitely old enough and have gone through that with where you don't really know a person until you live with them. And I realize that. I'm not going to say what exactly happened there because I'm not recording this. I'm not doing this podcast to go ahead and bash them because that they can come back and say everything bad about me. So I don't want to point it as one-sided because the truth is it always takes two. Whatever they did, I did something, vice versa. So, we both made plenty of mistakes, but I I said I eventually what happened was because I had brought me and Frost up there, and me and this person we're doing our thing. We're living together. She has a job. I have a job. And what happened? Am I still recording? Okay. Sorry about that. My screen completely blanked on me for a second. I thought everything had shut down. So back to what I was saying. She had a job. I had a job. Frost was there, and I was really anxious because I didn't get a job up there for like the first month and a half, I believe. A month and a half. I want to say about like a month to a month and a half. So thing is, or maybe about 2 months. I have a lot of bills, right? I have a lot of bills. I buy a lot of stuff. I've tried to like tone down on my spending, but like I think while I was living up there, I had lost like a total of $8,000. I want to say about $8,000. I could probably pull the receipts and and get back to you guys on that one, but I'm pretty sure about like I'll be nice. I'll say $7,000. $7,000. And keep in mind, this was right after the cruise, which I had already spent in total, I want to say about $3,200 on that cruise. Go back to the last podcast. I think I said $3,200, but around $3,200. So I had lost quite a bit of money in 2022 alone, just like in the second half of 2022. So I took a heavy hit there, but one thing led to another, one argument led to another, and she was open with me, and she said, Mike, soda. No, she didn't say soda. She said, Mike, I love you, but can't have you living here anymore. And I understood. I respected it. And it was tough. We blew up in each other's faces. Not going to lie about that. Could I have gone about that differently? 100%. Could she have gone about that differently? 100%. I'm not going to sit here and lie about that. But eventually I packed up my car, my little red car, and it was filled to the brim. It literally, if I would have gotten into a car accident, everything would have gone flying. Like I had so much shit in my car, and then on my way home, I had Frost in the passenger seat. And Frost gets motion sickness, for all of you that don't know. So I leave the top of the cage open because I keep her in the cage because I don't want her to be moving around too much. So I leave the top of it open and I pet her. I give her little pets. And she had managed to get a little feisty, and she got out and she was walking across the dashboard as I was driving back home. As I was driving back home on the highway, going legally 65 miles an hour. Let's say that. So that was fun to go ahead and force her back into the cage. And for those of you that aren't aware, like it was about like because there was traffic. So I want to say about like a 4.5 hour drive for me to get back home. And to have a cat that is trying to get out of a cage, which by the way, she did throw up and shit all over the cage. So now she's scrummaging around in her vomit and shit. It was just a mess. And this was like right before we got hit with a hurricane down here in Florida. So I was like, oh my God, this is just the worst possible time. And thing is, right, I know I had planned all the way back in 2021 this irrelevant project. So like I remember back in like August, I think I made like a post or like a video or something, like a little tease saying like, hey, 12/22/22, that's the date, right? Because like I did actually have intentions to put out this big project, which I'm going to explain shortly. But I had plans to put out this big project, and I was working on it for quite a while. A lot of it is done, or a lot of it is shot, not done. A lot of it is shot. But because that person came back into my life, I had said, all right, cool, I'm putting this back on hold because I'm trying to just focus on just being the best version of myself, getting a job, making sure I'm making the most amount of money so I can provide this person whatever they want, right? So I said, all right, cool. We're done with this. We're done with this again. And that's why, like, when I came back, you guys, saw me starting to post those videos again, like, 11 22 22 and all that shit. Yeah, was it 11 20? Yeah, 11 22 22 and like the countdown and all that stuff. So I didn't ever finish the project because I just didn't have time to finish doing a few shots. I didn't have time to finish editing it because like the editing on this bad boy was going to be crazy. I'd started learning how to make music for it. I bought a little keyboard. I bought a little like drum pad thing, that like you see like most like EDM people use. I think it's EDM. But yeah, I had tried to finish the videos fast as possible, but I knew for a fact that this project wasn't going to be finished. Which leads me into let's talk about the project. So yes, to move on from the last thing, that was the real reason why I had stepped away, was not necessarily because of that person. They didn't tell me, hey, you have to stop streaming. They just wanted to see me be the best version of myself. They said, hey, I want to see you working. I want to see you get a job. So what did I do? I took it to the extreme and I said, all right, cool, we're done streaming. I am going to get a full-time job. I'm going to become a man. I'm going to grow up. And look at me now. Just that person's not my life anymore. Ended, completely over. We tried to live together. It didn't work out. Like it was just a mess. It was just a mess. So now, some of you may be asking, well, Mike, that's fine and dandy, but what was that project going to be about? What was it going to be entailed? So let me go ahead and tell you, right? So the project was going to be really, really fucking cool. So obviously the project was titled Irrelevant. The reason why I titled it Irrelevant was for the pure fact of, hey, guys, I've been gone for so long. So probably by the time I come back, 12/22/22, I'm going to be irrelevant. Why did I come up with 12/22/22 as the date? Well, because legitimately 12/22/22 just sounds like a cool fucking date. And like I was like, that's perfect. You're gonna find out why in just a moment, right? Because we have 1 2 2 2 2 2. So 1 1 and then 5 2s. I think it is. Yeah, 1 1 and 5 2s. So like it fit perfectly of like 1 2. Just the number 1, the number 2. Probably confusing all of you right now, but it was going to go ahead and start off with like a little like the little video that you guys had already seen. If you haven't, make sure you go to my YouTube channel, watch my 12/22/22 video where I'm getting out of the bed and I'm like turning off a faucet. It's supposed to be like a dream sequence, right? Because once I turn off that faucet, I look at the camera, it goes blank, and then you see me on this white background. And I start to sing. The first song was going to be called Welcome, Welcome. I have everything like scripted out. It was like the most beautiful, stupid thing. And I had so many people like review it. Like I reached out to people on Fiverr to like try to help me make this stuff because I really wanted it to be perfect for everyone. And I wanted to hit it like for like new viewers and old time viewers. And like I thought it would have just been perfect, right? So the whole entire premise was going to be like kind of like my real life where like I stopped streaming, but the concept would have been different. I would stop streaming because, hey, I need to grow up. I can't be this little kid that's, on his computer and screaming all day, right? So and you would have noticed if I released the whole entire project, you would see that Irrelevant is strongly inspired by Bo Burnham's Inside. For those of you that haven't watched it, make sure you go check it out. It's on Netflix. Everyone has Netflix now. Go watch it. Go watch it. It's a little, something. But definitely go check that out if you can, if you haven't already. And you might get a feel for what I was aiming for. You might even see some similar shots in there. But yeah, it was going to start off as a musical. And what was cool about it, we would have had Sodacast 13. And then what was even cooler, it would have mostly taken place in my living room here. And the rooms would have kept getting smaller. And I'll explain to you what I mean by that. So we would have had Sodacat 13 here, and something wouldn't have been right with him because obviously he wanted to come back to streaming, but he didn't. He had to have this personification of him growing up, right? So he would have just, all right, cool. He's trying to get back into streaming. He's trying to vlog. He's trying to show everybody. He's recording stuff, so maybe he could do a little something. But he's recording himself saying like, hey, here's how my workday went. That kind of stuff. Kind of like affirmation videos. And he just would feel that something's not right. And he gets a call from someone saying that they're coming home. Who is that someone? Well, none other than Extreme. For those of you that don't know, Extreme is a long time character of mine who actually used to like own the Sodacat channel, because before it was Sodacat, it was Extreme. And Extreme was like what like was back me in the high school days, like when I was a dancer, like when I would do like like cool like waves, and I would do like contortion, like I'd pop my bones out of place, that kind of stuff. So like there was like this little skit that I did originally saying like he's up in space. So he's coming back from space, and he was going to enter through like the front door of my house. And he was going to go ahead and like be in a spacesuit and everything. He was going to say, "Oh my God, Soda, it's so nice to see you." And like, Soda Cat would have been like, "Oh man, I'm not feeling good. Why are you back down here all of a sudden? Like, is there like, this is like really weird that you're down here at the same time that I'm not feeling too well." And then Extreme would say, "Oh yeah, because I could feel like something's going on here." And then we would have been introduced to a new character by the name of Sodacat 14, who is supposed to be this childlike character, who shows up in a closet. If you guys know the layout of my room, bed over there, closet literally right next to me, right here. So there's a shot actually in the 12/22/22 project that I did put out where you see where you see Sodacat 14 like come out of, like he's in the closet like spying on Sodacat. So it would have been like really weird, really mysterious, and like Extreme would have been ready to kill him with a gun. I was gonna buy like a fake, or like you know what I mean, like a fake real looking gun, a prop gun. That's the word that I'm looking for. I would have bought a prop gun to then kill or attempt to kill Sodacat 14, but Sodacat 13, myself. See, this all sounds weird unless you actually see the project. So Sodacat 13 and Extreme, my bad, before they would be doing like a little musical number. Once again, you can't forget about the musical numbers. I don't want to give away any of like the actual songs. Maybe, like I said, if I ever put out the project, which I still plan on doing, you will see. But Sodacat 13, Extreme would have done like a little song, then they would have heard a sound in the closet, and then that's when they would have opened it up. You would have seen this childlike creature, Sodacat 14. And that's when like all hell breaks loose, right? Then we wake up, then Sodacat 14 freaks out because he's a young little guy. He tries to attack them, but they manage to knock him out. And then that's where like you would have seen that skit. For those of you that haven't seen, I think it's called Captured on my YouTube channel, where like there's a character like in all black with his hands tied behind him, right? That's supposed to be Sodacat 14, right? So he has like a mask over him, but they take off the mask and they're like, "Hey, buddy, what's going on here? What's going on? Why are you trying to attack us? Where the fuck did you come from? Who the fuck are you?" Right? So eventually, we would have gone like Sodacat 14 would have like said his true intentions, blah, blah, blah. And Sodacat 14 is actually all up just in Sodacat 13's psyche. This would have been just a story about like multiple personality disorder. That's essentially what it is. So if you guys obviously couldn't tell, like I said, the rooms get smaller and smaller. So this room is like the biggest. My kitchen is like the second biggest, which that's where like the second act would take place. And then the final act would then take place in the bathroom, which is like to fuck with like Sodacat's psyche. Because 14, we're just going to call him 14. 14 then kind of like dissipates, right? And then just goes into Sodacat 13's mind, because you got to remember he's just a facade, and he's not a real person. He doesn't live in the real world. So Sodacat 14 would have just faded away back into 13's head. And in the last act, we would have jumped a little bit of time into the future. We would have redone the scene of me getting out the bed. And the faucet that would be going off this time would be the one in the bathroom, my bathroom sink. So would have gone up to turn off that faucet, and then I would have looked in the mirror, and I had shaved my head. So, like, I had completely shaved my head, and, like, little fun fact, I'd actually donated the hair. Like, you don't actually see me shave my head, but I took those, like, bits of hair, and I just tossed them in my sink afterwards. Because, like, you have to manually donate the hair yourself. Like, you can't, whatchamacallit, you can't have them take it. So they gave me my hair, and I was like, all right, cool. Obviously I can't show it because I'm already bald, or I'm already buzzed. So I dropped the hair in the sink as I went along, and it looked really cool on shot. And it would have been like this new personification, like, hey, it's like supposed to be a new beginning for me. But the voices, being Sodacat 14, would have never left my head, and I constantly hear all these like different little musical songs in my head, just trying to tell me that I'm a piece of shit. So it would have essentially ended with Sodacat 13, then in the bathroom, depressed as fuck, and I'll maybe I'll post some concept art on my Instagram, so make sure you follow me there, Sodacat 13. That's all you got to search up. I know, shameless plug, but go check it out. Sodacat 13 would have then taken the prop gun that Extreme left, because once again, it's not supposed to be a prop gun. Obviously, for the project, it wasn't going to be a prop gun. And Sodacat 13 would have ended it, because my intention was to eventually just end the character of Sodacat. That would have just been a thing of the past. I thought that would be like the great way to go, because like I had always, like, I wanted to come back to streaming, right? Like, I want to come back to making videos. I want to come back to streaming, but I never really thought I would actually end up doing it. So I was like, all right, cool. I left, but I kind of left just out of nowhere. So I want to give you guys a good farewell. So now I don't feel as much pressure to like put out the project and to, obviously kill off Sodacat, because I'm back, like, making podcasts, streaming, making videos, or attempting to make videos, trying to put out as many as I can. But in essence, that would have been the project. Now, I know that sounds very vague, and obviously there's more details to it. Like I said, if I do ever put it out, you guys will hopefully enjoy it and say, "Oh, fuck, man, that's really, really fucking cool." At least I would say it's cool. So that's the project there. That is the project. Now, the next big question. To move on from that, will I ever put out the project? Yes, eventually, or I will put out some form or fashion of it. I might put out like a lot of concept art for it. I might put out some like behind the scenes shots, or some like other shots that maybe got cut from it. But hopefully eventually I can put it out. Now, the last thing that I put on to talk about today. Last thing, excuse me. The last thing that I put on for today to talk about was what's next for Sodacat. What's next for me in general as a person, Mike? Well, it's to continue to make content for you guys. Right now, I do work a full-time job, as I mentioned, so I will only be streaming one day of every week, and that is on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you check me out on Twitch. Once again, Sodacat13. I have plans to revitalize my Discord, so once again, check me out there. I'm not even going to do the shameless plug. Just go find it. You can find it. If you can find my other channels, you can find the Discord. I plan on doing a lot more content. I plan on doing a lot more things. Like I said, if it hasn't already come out, then you guys get a little bit of like a spoiler of what my next video is for my Sodacat channel. But it's like a motivational video. So I have many ideas with the YouTube channel. And I have many plans for the streams, like this upcoming Friday. Since I've been gone, apparently at least while I was gone, hot tub streaming blew up. So like I'm doing a hot tub stream like in my living room, which is going to be really fucking weird. And I hopefully can put a twist for that. I have an idea of how I'm going to do a little twist for it. So if you guys can, if you're listening to this podcast before that stream, which should be on January 13th, if you can, make sure you stop by because you're going to see a little something. And then obviously for Mic Art Production, I have a lot more content planned for that too. That one I feel like is like really easy because it's just technology and anything technology, photography, programming, that kind of stuff. I have so many plans for that. So it's like there's so much content going to come on the way. And I'm not sure I think I mentioned it in the last podcast of I'm stepping up my game because obviously I'm great when it comes to or I'd like to say that I'm pretty good when it comes to film production, when it comes to making videos, when it comes to doing like photography, like when it comes to making ideas. But where I struggle is having the time to actually edit everything. So I did hire someone, actually one of my friends from high school from a while ago. So I have him editing my videos, and man, let me tell you guys, I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm taking a loss on everything that I do. So if you guys can support me in any way possible, for every video, and this is just because I like to support him, right? I'm taking a loss. For every video, I give that man $100. So, and I'm still buying like brand new equipment. Like I just spent like $200 on a tripod. It's a hefty boy. It's meaty. It's a good tripod. But I spent so much money on that bad boy, and now I have to buy a stabilizer soon because we want to get some moving around shots. So please, guys, in any form or fashion, if you can, please support me. Whether it's donations or whether it's just subbing to the streams or even if it's just watching the content, man, just please, please, because I'm trying over here. But we do have a lot more planned. I'm all right with taking a loss at the end of the day because I'm working a full-time job, and I'm blessed enough where I do have the money to spend like that. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, honestly. I do plan on putting out podcast episodes sooner rather than later, like more episodes. The site that I use to go ahead and upload my podcast only allow 2 hours a month for like the free version. So I'm gonna have to end up paying for like the paid version, which I believe will cost me like $12 or $24 a month. So guys, please show your support, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you're listening to this. Please make sure you support, man. Recommend it to other people, please, because I'm about to spend even more money every single month, guys. Like I already got my normal bills. I'm just adding all this on top of it. So please, if you guys can, all I ask, like share if you can't like donate any money, which I'll never ask you guys wholeheartedly to do. If you can't support me monetary wise, just support me just by mentioning it to a family member, a friend. I have multiple sources of content now, so like you can't say, I don't know if my dad would want to watch this. Yeah, maybe he might not want to watch Sodacast, but maybe he might like the Mic Art Production videos, or maybe he might like the Sodacast. Or maybe he might like the streams, or maybe the videos. I don't know. But share my content around, guys, if you can. I greatly appreciate it. That's genuinely all I ask. If you like my content, make sure you follow me. If you really like my content, make sure you share it with other people. Spread the word of Sodacast. But, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. We've been going for about almost 50 minutes now. I think it's time to finish up the podcast. I'm going to say one more thing. Guaranteed for the next episode of the podcast, which will hopefully be coming out soon, because I don't want to put these out like one a month. I want to try to do at least bi-weekly. That's what I want to try. So hopefully soon, the next podcast, I will guarantee you, I will have a special guest on the podcast. I will not say who it is yet, because once again, I respect their privacy until they come on. But hopefully, for the next podcast episode, we will have a very, very special guest, very near and dear to my heart. So if you're listening to this right now, I'm about to DM you. So you better message me back. But everyone, that's pretty much all I have to say. So with that being said, as per usual, for now, have a fantastic rest of your day, evening, or night. Stay safe. Peace.